Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to afternoon market action. Today, I got Joey sitting sad-sidle. He's sad-sidle. He's here in person today, so I got him mixed up. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be here. Glad to have you here. If you can hear me, there you go, Dan. Dan put JC. I said for all the people who were in the Jockey Club when you came in today, to put JC in the chat, and there we go. So that's a whole different JC, Marty, but I got you on that. So Senior Super Instructor for VectorVest. What the flying flip is that, Joey?
I thought we were going with Honky Tonky Tompkins.
Honky Tonky Tompkins. That's what we're going to go with today. Woo! Howdy! Yee-hoo! Welcome to Western Wednesday as well. So I got a lot of JC people coming in. Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. You calm yourself down and stop doing stuff in the background. I like it better when you do this from home.
Me too.
Holy smokes. All right. My new title is on Wednesdays is Honky Tonky Tompkins.
Honky Tonkin.
Yeah, Honky Tonkin Tompkins?
Yeah.
All right. That was Joey's idea. Honky Tonkin Tompkins. I can't even say it. I can't even say it. Holy smokes. All right, well, welcome here. Let's go see how many people in the room before we get started. You know, I want to get like, there we go. I want to get like 300 people in the room. Let me see if the alert hit. I'll let you know when the alert hits because I'll see how many people come up in the room. I got a surprise for you today. We have a new person we added on to our team, and we will talk about that. Jose says, nice hat. This is my my Western Wednesday hat. Love this hat. And I got another hat. Fred, hi. Glad to see you here as well. There we go. 151 people are here. All right. Joey put the link in the chat. Do it again, Joey. Joey put the link in the chat. I want you guys to share the link now. Share the link. Let's get 300 people in the room. A lot of stuff going on today. The Fed was testifying on the Hill today. A lot of great questions about what's going on. A lot of topics were covered that we have covered here on the YouTube channel, talking about the cnbc, talking about banks, and a lot of stuff that we've talked about on the YouTube channel, which lets me know that I think that we're doing a decent job staying on top of the hot topics in the market, enough that we've got videos on them and a lot of content that was covered on the Hill today are topics that we have definitely covered in the channel. Mimi is here. Hi, Mimi. Glad that you're here in the background as well. All right, let's cancel the Fed. You can't do that, EJM. I know the type of investor you are, bro. We can't do that. Not at this particular point in time. We can't do that. All right. What's up with AMD right now? I think all of the tech stocks, the chip stocks, may be taking a breather, but we got some news today that can talk about maybe a new resurgence in these stocks if you're currently trading them. So you want to make sure you stay today. We've got a segment specifically on chip stocks today. I am from the JC, as you said today. So Tushar is here from the Jockey Club as well. So I'm glad to see a lot of Jockey Club people here. All right, let's get into what's going on in the market. Let's go take a look at the market as we look. Actually, let's go back to the market screen. We can see today, while doing the Jockey Club, we did see two red lights, one in the RT and one in the buy to sell ratio. The one in the RT has gone away. We are flashing a primary wave down right now, which is, what is that? We got ghost in here? What's that? All right.
You need more stuff over there.
I don't need more stuff over there. Leave my stuff. Stop talking about how much stuff I got over there. Mind your beeswax. Okay. All right? Because I will fight you. All right. So anyway, the Fed's talking about a lot of stuff. I forgot what I was even freaking saying. Oh, the chip stocks. We're going to talk about that today. Anyway, let's go look at the market. Intraday 1-minute bars. This is what's going on. The market took a big dip down in the Jockey Club, our live trading room today. Remember, we can hear you in the background, special guest. Your mic is live. Just letting you know I heard you. All right, but don't say anything more, special guest, because I don't want the people to know who you are yet. Stop making noise in the background. Anyway, big bump down to the downside in the market today. A couple of rebounds. The most recent rebound as of right now is sitting at a level of 58.03 as far as the composite. We're right at the level of the gap. Look at that. We could get some upside coming into the market. We're right at the level of the gap down. That could show some Resurgent coming into today. Manju is here from Amsterdam. I'm thankful that you are here. Do you think Tesla hit will last? We'll talk about that a little later too. I got some EV stocks to talk about. All right, so let's look at this on a 3-month graph. What do we look like? The 3 and the 8 were converging down to the downside after a dark cloud cover. After a dark cloud cover, we got followed through yesterday. A little bit of indecision going on today. So the market's just in a wait and see mode. I think the market's trying to digest what happened on the Hill today in the way that the Fed answered the questions from Congress. All right, so we will do that. We do not the market time. What did you say, Kobe? I'm not sure what you need to retype that because I'm not sure what you're saying. There is a positive sign here on the pullback. The 3 has not crossed below the 8. All right, that is a positive sign, but we do have a bit of indecision going on today, a little bit of a doji going on. A couple of news articles in regards to what's going on in the market today. Oops, wrong. There we go. Congress, hold on. U.S. stocks were falling. This was earlier this morning as Powell tells Congress inflation fight is ongoing. That's important. All right, even though he paused on the most recent rates, the fight, he's not saying that the fight is done or that he's going to cut rates or that he's going to pause again. I think in July he raises. You think Nicola keep rising? I don't know, Mr. Headshot. Not yet. All right, so now here's the new rule. Here's the new rule that I put in yesterday. If you start asking me about stocks before I ask you to give me your stocks, I'm going to take a stock away from the stock list that I look at towards the end of the session. All right, so I want you to ask me about your stocks when I give you the opportunity to do so. But if you keep putting in your stocks prior to that, I will take one stock off the list of one that we'll look at. I want to concentrate on the topic at hand. All right, so I put that out to you, Mr. Headshot. Jake, don't even start. Don't even start. All right. And another story about the Fed. Wait for this to populate. Joey comes in and now my stories don't want to freaking populate. There it is. Fed's Powell in testimony says inflation fight is a long way to go. Is that the same story? Oh, 2 stories. One says it's ongoing. The other one says it's a long way to go. So I think that, oh, do you see the fan? Oh, man. I told him not to put it on during the live stream. Wow. Thank you, Mark. You know something, turn it off and just, I had a little bit of a flood situation. That was funny. I had a bit of a flood situation happen in my office. The fan is there to try to dry the floor. I knew it. I knew it. If Boston is in the background, she's probably laughing and telling Steve, I told Steve not to put it on during the live stream. And he still put it. I'm not a big appreciate that my first time in here. Mr. Headshot, I got you, my friend. I got you. But I do give you guys an opportunity to look at your stock. So I got you, my friend. Incontinence, it got nothing to do. Why does everybody think that I had something to do with the water on the floor?
Well, you did it. It's in your office.
But I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you did.
And that trader, you're going to timeout. I know you just kidding, but you're going into timeout. What did Carlos say? Incontinence, really? All right, so all of this from a market standpoint is just trying to show that inflation is still an issue. The Fed still knows it. I still think that the Fed caved in to everybody yapping in his ear, saying, you got to slow down, bud. You made it, just like that. And the Fed said, okay. But he still knows that Fed hikes are still on the table. All right, so now I'm going to go back to this, and that's all I'm going to, from a market perspective, the only timing signal that we have that's flashing a down call is the most aggressive signal, the primary wave. The DEW is still up. The confirmed call is still up. So from that standpoint, if the market wanted to still play to the downside today, just like we did in the Jockey Club, we didn't sell anything short, but we did buy into a couple of contras, which are probably starting to get hurt if the market starts to move up. If you're playing contras right now, remember, I told you they were trades, all right, that they were trades. You might want to think about taking some of that off the table, all right? So I'm just telling you that as well. AK says, Glenn, don't know if you remember me. It was many years ago in LA when you told me that major profits were better than... Who the heck? Who told you that I would have said that? That's crazy. That wasn't me. It must have been another dude of a darker color, but it wasn't me. I'm just trying to tell you. Oh, no, I didn't say nothing like that. Never would have. Oh, heck to the no. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Woo! Man, you just made my heart pitter-patter. It was like, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. Woo-wee. Hold on.
You're blushing.
Whoa, I'm blushing a little bit. That's hard for me to do, but I am blushing. Holy smokes. All right. So with that, we've got a new member on our team. All right. And I'm going to bring him on right now as a new content creator. And Joey's going to put his picture up. There we go. We got to
Have him unmute.
have him unmute. All right. And now, as he raises his head looking after the cowboy hat, his name is Ryan Shook. He is our newest content creator. And everybody give him a round of applause. All right. He is our newest content creator. And I want him to introduce himself to you guys. This is his way of now getting to know you getting to know him. He's going to spend time with me on some stocks today. Ryan, let them know who you are and why you're here.
Glenn, thank you for having me on your show today.
Go ahead.
It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Ryan Shook. I have been with VectorVest since 2014 on the support floor. Many of you may have already spoken with me or worked with me in the past, but it is a pleasure to actually be on a live channel. You can see my face, so it's a little different than what I'm used to. But it's definitely a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited for the opportunities to come and show our viewers and our subscribers how to make money in this market.
Awesome, man. How many? So 2014, 2021 would be 7 years. 2023 gives you what, 9 years?
Yeah, about 9 years.
There you go. So he does bring a lot of great knowledge to the table. A lot of time on the telephone. So as he said, he's probably spoken to a lot of you as well. And that's great. Any pricing questions, you can ask him better than you can ask me. But he brings a lot of wealth of knowledge to the system, to the table, which I think is good. This is what we pride ourselves on, being able to provide you guys with some of the best information that we can. That's what our YouTube channel is all about. That's what makes us different than every other channel in this space. All right. So again, as you can see, VV Nation is welcoming you with open arms. And I look forward to working with you, hopefully to be a little bit of a mentor to you to help you along the way. But I think that you're going to come into your very own in a very short amount of time. Based upon what you know and your personality, my friend. So I just want you to know personally, I'm here for you as much as I possibly can. And then you got Joey, who pretty much is just the guy in the back who will always help you as well. He's just some guy, you know, but a lot of people think that he does a lot. I'm looking at him.
Are you done?
No,
Move on.
no, okay. Are two hats better than one? Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. Is there any gift that ATT is getting to help it on it? Why are you starting with me, Mark? Mortgage. Why are y'all trying to sneak stocks in here? Y'all think y'all slick. Y'all really think that y'all slick. Hey, Glenn. Hi. No. Again, I'm giving you one more warning. You keep putting new stocks up there, I'm going to take one off. All right. So we're going to get back into the news. And I think that today, a good start to today. Put us both on, Joey, if you can. A good start to the day is that we're going to both bring some stocks to the table, and we're going to be able to talk about those stocks. So I thought that was a great way to break him in, to give some insight on things that he's looking at, the same way that I give you insight on things that I'm looking at. All right, so first story that I've got going on is oil. Oil, Joey. oil rallies 1% after hawkish remarks from the Fed's Powell. Again, everything that was talked about on the Hill today was talking about inflation. I think a lot of questions were asked the same way I'm saying. A lot of questions were asked about the policy of why pause now. And then they talked about, did the banks have weigh any on his decision? And a lot of things. How many of you took the time to watch his testimony today? I watched just about all of it. Type a 1 if you did watch his testimony today. Type a 1 if you did watch his testimony today. And it always perplexes me. It does, by what I call Fed speak. The questions get asked, and the answers are like, huh? On a lot of them. So I see a lot of people did watch it. Not so tired of Powell, says, not so because you're tired of Powell, says. EJM doesn't like the Fed. I just want everybody to know. EJM, mark it down. EJM doesn't like the Fed. So oil starts to rally. I'm going to talk about, do I think that oil is the right time to rally? I do know that recently we started buying more oil to put back into the reserves to replace what we sold out. The last thing I saw was only about 6 million barrels we bought. We got a long ways to go. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Here's a drug stock. GlaxoSmithKline says RSV vaccine for older adults provides protection over 2 seasons. So I dislike the drug stocks are feeling the hurt over not putting out any more COVID vaccines. Pfizer, I think, it might have been Glaxo. Glaxo was the first company that got FDA emergency use authorization for its RSV vaccine. GlaxoSmithKline is a stock that I think you should keep your eyes on. It's still going now. Waters is still not stopped. That's not a nice thing to say, trader. You know me, I don't want to bring politics, even though I think that was funny, but it's not right, trader. It wasn't right. When is Boston stepping into the camera? That's a good question. But you know something? It may happen sooner than you guys think, which would be awesome. You never know. All right. So those are 2 stocks that I want to take a look at. Now I'm going to bring Ryan in on some insight on something that he's looking at. Unless, Ryan, you got anything you want to say about either one of those stories?
No, I'm good on those 2 stories right now.
All right. So he's going down the AI path, and he's going to talk a little bit about some stocks. So, Ryan, I've got the stories up. I'll let you say what you want to say, my friend. The first one is NVIDIA, ASML, TSMC, and Synopsys set foundation for next generation chip manufacturing.
All right. Thank you, Glenn. Well, I did want to bring something to our customers' attention, and I wanted to introduce a stock from a value standpoint. Right now, AI, such a hot topic in the market. Everyone has heard of NVIDIA. It's all over the news right now.
By the way, Ryan, you have control, so you can move.
Oh, so I can move it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, perfect. So yeah, the first stock I did want to mention was TSM, or Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturer. Now, they are based out of Taiwan, and they are on the forefront of advanced computing chips. As AI becomes more popular and more adapted into, society, these chips are going to be in very high demand. As of right now, they control about 90% of the market, depending on which article you look at, but they have a pretty strong grasp on the advanced chips itself. Now, TSM, from a value standpoint, this is one of the few stocks that's AI related that is still undervalued by our metrics. Because as I've mentioned before, over the past few months, a lot of these companies have been stretched by a valuation term. Now, TSM not only produces chips for NVIDIA, which is, going to be the leader or the forefront of this semiconductor revolution with AI, but they also produce chips for AMD. I know Marvin had mentioned AMD in the comments just a little bit ago. As he is probably aware of, they just released their new AI chip. I think it was last week. or the week before, President and CEO Su had released that chip. Investors weren't too crazy on it. The stock popped up to about 130. As I looked at it earlier today, it has retreated. I think it was around 115, 114, moving back with the market right now. Now, TSM does have lots of plans for expansion going on in the future. The next article I'm going to pull up real quick. All right. I don't know if anyone remember this in the news last year, but TSM is bringing their first manufacturing plant to Arizona. Initially, that deal was only going to be for about a $10-15 billion plant, but now that deal has reached $40 billion, making it the largest foreign investment deal in U.S. history. So that's pretty groundbreaking, a lot of room for expansion for TSM. But not only are they expanding in North America, but on the next article here, let me pull that up. Sorry, it's a little small on my screen. But as well in the EU, Taiwan Semiconductor eyes on another expansion for a $10 billion chip plant debut in Germany. Now, this chip plant isn't really going to focus on AI chips at all, really. They're focused on 28 nanometer chips, which are mostly used for the auto industry. If you know anything about semiconductors, the smaller the number and the nanometer, the more advanced the chip. Right now, they kind of lead the charge on 5 nanometer and smaller. That's why they are such an important player when it comes to the AI field. So it doesn't really matter if you're betting on NVIDIA or TSM or even Apple, because NVIDIA, AMD, or Apple, because TSM makes the chips for all three companies, especially the more advanced chips. So I just thought from a valuation perspective, definitely a great play and should introduce that to our subscribers, because right now, with all these AI chips overvalued, it's hard to find, good value in the space. So that's just something I wanted to bring to the table today.
The cool thing about this is that everybody in VV Nation knows I got a kid working for ASML who's now, and they've got the collaboration with Taiwan Semi, and he is in Arizona. And Marvin says it's a big deal here in Phoenix. Lots of jobs. My kid is one of those people that have the jobs, and he let me know that plant that he's in, that he's helping, he's on some kind of machine for the chips. He's labeled as an engineer. He says that plant is phenomenal, and what they did is they sent him to Taiwan for 3 months so they could see how they work at Taiwan Semiconductor and what they expected in the Arizona plant. So every day I go back and forth with him in regards to what's going on with the TSM. I'm like, man, today it sucks. He's like, it's okay. It's okay. I said, today it's great. He says, I know. He's very cocky. He's very cocky, which I'm glad. He works for a great company. He's a young kid making a lot of money in this space. So Trader Max, as you can see, said, thanks, Ryan. I think that was a great story. And you did talk about that. Apple, I did a story that Apple cornered TSM into making like 90% of their for one of the chips for their phone went to Taiwan Semi. So I think that it's a great play. I still think that you talk about that building. Everybody knows that building, on that whole building. I don't want to see his face. All that building stuff that's going on. I've been telling you about 4 industries, and Taiwan Semi TSM plays a big role in that big manufacturing in Arizona. The whole building, cement, glass, copper, steel. We're gonna take a look at those again, but I'm telling you, that whole building space, that whole AI space, the chip space, they pretty much all go hand in hand. And I think bringing this story to the forefront is a great thing. All right. Another story. I got some EV-related stocks. Mazda will begin partnership talks with Panasonic for EV battery supply. You know something? Everybody's going after Tesla. Tesla's the big boy, so everybody's trying to do what they're trying to do to go after Tesla. So, but that could be a very important story. I got TM I'm going to look at. Rivian. So, and you know, when I started talking about being bullish on EVs, a lot of people were against me. And you know something, that's okay. I value everybody's opinion. All right. And there's 4 different things that were headwinds for EVs. The battery. The battery is the most expensive part of the car. Your battery goes down, you're spending $30,000 or more on a battery. People were talking about the grid, but a lot of people don't realize that these vehicles get recharged on non-peak hours. All right. A lot of people were talking about the cost. You know, the EVs are way expensive as compared to a combustion engine. You see this story right here. Rivian reveals R2 may cost about $40,000. I think that EVs have come a long way in driving the prices down because the demand is so high. All right, they want to make sure that they can sell the cars. Tesla's already doing it. As you can see, Rivian is starting to do it. I'm sure that a lot of other EVs are going to come to that fruition as well. And the 4th thing that was a big issue was the charging. Well, Tesla is a big thing in that too. Tesla is now, here's my other story in cards as far as charging. Rivian adopted the Tesla charge port. Hyundai and Stellantis are considering. So the other companies besides Rivian that are on board with the Tesla superchargers are Ford, GM. There was somebody else. Ford, GM, now Rivian. There was somebody else before Rivian. Ford, GM, somebody. Fungus. I forget who it was. Toyota has a 600-mile range battery and soon to put out a 900-mile. Drew, I haven't seen that. I know that Lucid was the only company that I saw that had a 500-mile range. Lucid was the only company that I saw. I hadn't seen anything on Toyota having a 600-mile range battery, but I will look into that. Lucid had the highest rated range battery. But the problem with Lucid is that their cars are so freaking expensive. You can spend about $250,000 on a fully electric Lucid vehicle. But I will look into that whole Toyota thing. Well, Ryan will school Glenn about how hydrogen-powered vehicles are better than EVs. I don't think he will. I don't think he will because the first thing that comes out of my mouth when I think about hydrogen is bomb. Okay. All right, so there was another company. It was Ford. There was another one, and that just recently came out with adopting. I forget who it was. Greg says new Toyota commercial claims 600-mile battery. I'm gonna take a look at that if I can find it. All right, Energy says not this decade. Energy, I think that it will. I think that it will be this decade. I think a lot of people still think that this whole EV space, a whole EV thing is just going to be and then fly away. I'm telling you, by what year? About a year 2030, the 7 years from now, the projections are that more than half the cars on the road will be electric vehicles. I take it for what it's worth. So, and then the last story is about the charging port. Because of what Tesla is doing, it's going to make the other charging companies up their game. Blink Charging announces a new dual port CCS and NAC fast charger, which does a little bit with the Tesla charger. I think the company wrote a new 240 kilowatt dual port CCS and NCAS charger is in the final design and should soon be available. My sugar is up. Dagnammit. There it is. A new DC fast charger model supporting the Tesla's North American charging standard. That's where it was. All right, so talking about hydrogen being better than EV this decade. Oh, okay, then that I don't see. I still think that hydrogen's got a ways to go. I really do. I really do, but I'm not going to discount it. I just don't think Energy said I was agreeing with you. Well, it didn't sound like you was agreeing with me. All right, listen, it didn't sound like it. All right, so that's all I got to say about that. All right, so anything you want to add to those stories, Ryan?
I will say the adoption of these charging ports across more than one car manufacturer is important. You know, when we go to the gas station, go to a pump, there's not a pump for each different car. And I think the more seamless the infrastructure for the EVs, the more the adoption can go smoothly, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people are scared of EVs just because of the infrastructure, whether it's, you know, there's problems with charging or if there's charging stations not near them. But if they could solve that problem, you know, I'm on board with EV.
So actually, that's a good point that you bring up. Do you know that I think there were like 47,000 charging stations across either globally or the United States. Anyway, 17,000 charging stations. I got to double check the story. I should have brought it up. With Teslas. With Teslas. Yeah. Tesla's cornered the market so far on the charging stations. And right now with their superchargers, you can get a 200-mile range in a 15-minute charge. That's huge. You know, people were complaining, well, you know, if I go to the gas station, I can pump up my car and I'm gone. But if I go to charge, I got to sit there and charge for an extended amount of time before I get to move. All right. But I'm looking at the whole idea of, you know, 15-minute charge, 200 miles, that can get you to the next charging station. So it's only getting better. It is definitely only getting better. Tesla might need to open a new company specifically for chargers. I think that's just part of their infrastructure. I don't know if they need to dedicate. I think they already are doing it. I don't know if they need to dedicate. They got so many out there, EJM, that I don't think that they need to dedicate a portion of their business. I think it's already incorporated. 4 million chargers in China. Well, you know, that makes sense, but Marcus, China's so much bigger than the United States. Where the heck are we going to put 4 million chargers in the United States? You're going to just be able to go down the block charge. 4 million is a lot of charging stations. We don't need that many. But you're right, Marcus. I hear you. There are 4 million chargers in China, but China's so much bigger than the United States. It makes sense. Hydrogen will be the cleanest fuel use climate footprint. I don't know if I disagree with that or not. Who else makes components for charging stations? You know, that's a good question. I don't know who makes the components, but I know ChargePoint makes charging stations. I know Blink Charge, as you can see, makes charge. But, you know, components for the charging stations, I don't know. What does it cost for 15-minute charge? For a lot of people, David, nothing. A lot of people who have the Tesla vehicles got a lot of free hours of charging. A lot. I think that's part of the program when you buy a Tesla. That if you charge at a Tesla charging station, and a lot of them are not paying for like a couple of years worth of time. So yeah, the 15-minute charge, David, is free. But I think it's part of the deal when you buy a Tesla vehicle. All right, so and that's also true about Tesla. Tesla's about to break in. They said that was a possible location for their next factory. It is ambiguous. It is a possible location for the next one. All right. So, Ryan, I like your input on that. You got anything else you want to say in regards to the charging stuff?
Maybe not the charging stuff, but as far as the comment earlier, where a lot of the other manufacturers are coming to battle for Tesla and their market share, I think the big advantage with Tesla maybe in the data of their autonomous driving. You know, they've been collecting data on autonomous driving for quite some time now, and the commercial applications of that, I mean, could push the stock to new highs for sure. You know, I think it was next year or the following year, they're rolling out the semi truck, as well as the autonomous taxis are in the works as well. So I think, you know, Tesla's just got a lot of interesting things coming down the pipeline that the other manufacturers just aren't there yet, if that makes sense.
This helps to put into play just how big Tesla is in this space and why they are the big boy in this space. All right. Cool. Let's go to another story that you've got. And this one, he's still got control, Joey?
Yep.
All right.
Do I have control?
Yep. There you go.
I guess.
Go ahead.
All right, it's up now. So let's see here. Okay, so the next stock I did want to mention, this is coming from a totally different aspect, but for my retail traders or retail investors or those people who are comfortable getting into meme stocks, Virgin Galactic is back in the news right now with a possible or potential short squeeze coming up.
Explain for a lot of people what a short squeeze is.
So a short squeeze essentially is if you short a stock, you're borrowing the stock from your broker, hoping to return it at a lower price. However, if that stock goes up in price, the broker can force you to buy those shares back. So if there's a lot of interest in shorting a stock, or if a lot of those shares are being shorted and the price goes up, the broker can, force those investors to purchase the shares back. It's kind of the basic understanding of a short squeeze. So, back in 2020, 2021, when the retailers, took over with the meme stocks, they were not selling the shares back. They were not selling their shares, creating a disproportion in volume between supply and demand, pushing the share price even higher. That's kind of a simple breakdown of, what a short squeeze is and how you short a stock.
Great explanation, bro. Thank you.
So anyways, back in 2021, Virgin Galactic announced, several, star-studded flights, test flights scheduled, sending shares. It hit highs around $60 a share back then when retail investors came in and flooded the market. Now, since then, the stock has, it's been trending down quite a bit. It finally hit a low this past April at $2.98. Now, since then, last week, Virgin Galactic released its first commercial test flight. They're expecting that test flight to occur between June 27th and June 30th, which I believe is next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Now, because of the huge short interest in this stock, which actually I looked yesterday on my broker, the short interest is at 46%. So almost half the shares right now are, being shorted. So there's not a lot of supply in shares as it is. Now, when the news came out last week, the stock jumped up. I think it was around 20%. It has been retracing since then, with the market and the Fed speaking today. Most stocks are down today, depending on what you're looking at. But this is just a very interesting way to get into a short squeeze before the fact. So this is not for your conservative investor, probably not your 401k. But if you got, a little bit of money and you want to plan on, gambling a little bit, this is a potential stock you may want to look at or consider going into next week.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. How many of you, type of one in the room, how many of you are willing to go into space? If you had the money to go, how many, type of one if you would go into space, type of two if you wouldn't. While they're doing that, Ryan, keep on going, bro.
Oh, you're good. And to answer your question, Glenn, I would like to go into space. Would you?
I would go.
Depending what the flights are, I know
it's probably $250,000. I think it's the same amount of money as the people who got stuck in the Titanic thingy. I think it's like $250,000 a ticket.
Do you want to go in the ocean?
I don't want to go in the ocean.
It's so deep.
It is deep. That is way deep.
Miles deep.
Well, you wouldn't want to see the Titanic,
miles
Glenn?
high?
It's underwater. It's just crazy.
All right. Joey's a scaredy cat. That's what it says. All right. Keep going, bro.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is just a potential short squeeze candidate. Right now it's trading, I think I looked earlier today, just under $6 a share. So you probably want to just look at the volume, see if there's some follow through with this momentum. But ultimately, it's all going to be based on the news next week. If they have a successful commercial test flight, which is based off the news alone last week, it went up 20%.
I thought there was a day that it went up like 40%. That was another stock. It could have been. I thought it did.
Recently?
Yeah. Hold on. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Yeah.
I swore it went up like 40% on one day. SPCE. Oops. SPCE. Put this on a 3-month graph. I know it went up really big. I'm wondering what the move was on that day. Somebody do the math for me. The open price was 483. The close price was 601. Somebody do math on that for me.
That's about 25%.
Is it 25%? All right, if it is, it is. I thought I saw it go up like 40%. So if somebody can do the math, if it's about 25%, then maybe it was a different stock. And that's fine. I just thought that it went up like 40%. I can't believe none of you math folks out there ain't did the math yet. 24.4%. There we go. All right.
Okay.
Man, it took y'all long enough. All right, so there's your 20%. I don't know why I thought it went up like 40%, but I'm glad we checked. All right. That's a big move in one day. That's a big... There, Williams says 271% of average volume today. Wow, that's a lot of volume.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then you got another story right here, unless you didn't want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So this just tied into the Virgin Galactic story. It says here it's up 17%. I think a lot of the move was actually I'd have to look at it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of that move was pre-market and post-market price action. But like I said, next week's going to be the big mover for this stock, as far as the results on that commercial test flight.
So the cool thing about it is that's another stock for you guys to keep on your radar. I love what you brought right there. I mean, that's the story behind it. And like you said, a short squeeze. A lot of people who were negative on the stock might get their back ends handed to them big time in a big, big way, pushing that stock up even higher. I love that. And I like the way that you set it up, saying that this is more of an aggressive trade. This is not something that you put into your retirement portfolio. This is definitely more of an aggressive trade. So I'm all on board with that. I love that. Love that. Love that. All right, there's only one more story. Joey will let me know when I can take the most. We know that Bitcoin is on the rise today. Bitcoin prices spiked 138,000 on Binance. Listen, I am not afraid to say that I'm not a fan of Bitcoin. I still think that the big story that happened with what's the company? Dagnabbit? What's the company with the guy with the curly hair with the 3 initials? Somebody. What's that company? I hate getting old sometimes. Somebody's going to put it in the room. Somebody type it in the room. FCX, thank you. And SBF,
yes.
There it is. Bob Ross, it wasn't. Hush up, Boston. But it was FTX, FCX, whatever. It was bad. And I still think that people are still recovering from that whole thing. Sam Bankman-Fried, there's the SBF. All right, so I think anytime you take at this particular point in time, I think any crypto trade that you take right now would be more of a trade, more so than something you want to buy long term. All right, so between us, those are the stories that we brought to the table today. All right, and let's go to our watch list. And I'm going to start with Ryan's picks. Ryan, I'm going to let you talk through your picks. You gave the stories, and I'm going to let you talk through the picks. And I like that, as you mentioned, that Taiwan Semi is one of the undervalued stocks that are in the list. I'm going to add another stock. I'm just going to see if it's another one of my favorite ones. NVIDIA is already up there. All right, let's go add SMCI. Let's go see where it sits. SMCI, ta-da, that's what I thought. It's a little undervalued as well. I like it. Now, I ain't, I'm not going to piss all over your story, and I'm not. But when I look at SMCI in that space, higher relative value, higher relative safety, what I really do like about it is the CI. All right, so I do like TSMC as a value play, but I'm going to add another one to your list as far as a value play in SMCI. All right, I think that that's a good. I'm a big fan of Nvidia strictly because of price action. This has been one of the hottest stocks in the space strictly because of price action. But if you look at it, it's not as fundamentally sound. The CI is there though. All right, when I look at the stock's ability to withstand long and lengthy price declines, Nvidia and SMCI are the two that stand out. All right, I just wanted to add that because I know when you were saying that, in this space, looked like it was one of the only ones that was undervalued. I knew that there was at least one more in SMCI.
No, SMCI, I mean, that's been one of our top picks now in the stock viewer for quite some time.
Yeah.
I remember talking to a customer, I think it was back in February or March, and it just hit a new high, and he was, timid of purchasing a stock, which I get it. When a stock hits a new high, I get a little timid because I feel like I'm overpaying for it. But like I explained to that customer, as long as you put in some kind of stop criteria, if the stock goes against you, you can ride that momentum to the upside. And I mean, that's back when the stock was like $110, and what's it trading at now? Almost $250.
Yeah.
So, don't be scared to buy stocks that are hitting highs. We want stocks. We want to purchase stocks that are doing what they're doing. We don't want to purchase a stock that's falling and just guessing the bottom. We'd rather ride that momentum. Here at VectorVest, I've been taught to follow the trend. Don't fight the trend. And I've learned time and time again, let the trend be your friend. Just go along with it. SMCI is a great pick. It definitely undervalued with a RV, RS, RT, all in great favorable ratings there. I mean, you couldn't ask much more from a stock from SMCI. I just know that's been at the top of the list. A lot of our subscribers and viewers are probably aware of that one. So today I figured I'd, show them something that may not be at the top of the list, but it has great potential, being TSM. And AMD and NVIDIA, I mean, those two leading the forefront as far as, being able to design some of the best computer chips out there. I know Intel has been losing market share to AMD for quite some time now. I don't know if you know too much about that, Glenn, the Intel.
INTC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've kind of dropped the ball as far as some of their technology. And actually, I read an article maybe just a couple months ago where Intel is actually subcontracting TSM to make some of their more advanced computer chips because they don't have the capabilities to.
And Apple is doing the same thing, but it's not like they're doing it because they don't have they can do it. But you know something? Why recreate the wheel when you can have somebody like TSM subcut? Because Apple's doing the same thing. But Apple's doing it from a different perspective. I think Apple is doing it out of for the lack of a better word, being a little lazy, whereas Intel is doing it out of necessity. And I think there's a difference between the two. All right. What about your space, your Virgin?
So, yeah, down here at the bottom, we do got Virgin Galactic here. Let me just click on this one. Now, Virgin Galactic, as if you look at RV, RS, they are both below 1. So as I mentioned before, I mean, this is a speculative play here.
Okay.
This is not something you want to invest in necessarily for the long term. Not saying it potentially may not work out, but just know the risk is high.
I'm surprised Mark is not saying, "Oh, Ryan, are you telling everybody to go buy SPCE? Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you do that for him, Mark? Yeah, I'm just asking for a friend. Why don't you do that for him when you do it for me for XRoth? I'm just asking." All right, I just got triggered, Ryan. You just watch me get triggered. That's all.
Oh, you're fine. Now, I won't tell anyone necessarily go out there and buy this, but keep your ear close to the news, and there's definitely some potential to make money here. Now, if you play options, this definitely could be a good spread candidate or even a straddle to take advantage of some of that volatility and mitigate risk. But otherwise, if you're just going to buy the shares outright, definitely have a stop in place and just keep an eye on what's going to happen with that commercial launch next week, because that's going to be the big mover.
Someone asked why SMCI went down big yesterday. I think a lot of it is the market. The market yesterday did a little bit of rollover. The hottest stocks at the top probably just followed suit with the market. Whether it's TSMC, whether it's SMCI, or any of these stocks, I still think I'm right along with Patrick that this is still a hot space. All right, that this is still a hot space. Could you have taken your profits on these and locked in the profits and wait for a better buying opportunity? Absolutely. Don't be afraid to do that. The space has been hot. There's probably a lot of profit taken. Too late SMCI long. And Ryan, if you want to add to it, I still think that all of these stocks are good plays even now.
Yeah, I definitely think they're good plays. I mean, is today the day? Probably not.
Right.
However, definitely keep them in a watch list, and I think opportunities will present themselves probably in the near future, if I had to guess.
You got it. All right. My listing of stocks. Thank you for that, by the way, Ryan. My listing of stocks, what have I got? I got Rivian, GlaxoSmith, Toyota, my crypto play coin, Blink, and ChargePoint. If I'm looking at any of these stocks, I ain't liking none of them. Really, these are all news-driven stocks that I pulled up. No CIs above 1, no VSTs above 1. Rivian is the closest. Only 2 stocks have an RV above 1. I'm not. This is all news-driven, so I'm not real warm and fuzzy about any of the stocks. I like the news on some of these stocks, especially with Rivian coming on board with Tesla as far as the charging. It did help to push up their relative value. GlaxoSmithKline as far as the drug company with RSV. But Toyota Motors, 600 mile, I gotta peek that out. And you know something, even if that's the case, is that 600-mile range on that car enough to push this stock back into some fundamental stuff? Let's go look at the earnings. Positive earnings, but negative earnings growth. I'm not sure. Coinbase, way overvalued. Nothing. There ain't nothing there. The charging companies, I still think that Tesla's put themselves in a unique situation where they've cornered the market even in the charging space. I think that these guys are going to need to catch up. These companies are way overvalued. No fundamental analysis. Notice that in the list, there's the only 2 stocks of the sell recommendations. So my list today is kind of poopy. So with that being said, I am going to bring you, let's go back to the building stocks. This is something that can anybody remember when I first started talking about these companies? Can anybody give me a roundabout date when I put this list together? I need you guys, because only you guys here remember when I started really talking about it. There's a reason why I'm asking that question. Can anybody give me a roundabout date? 4 weeks ago? You going to call it that way, about 4 weeks ago?
It's been about a month or 2.
All right. Let's go back.
About 6 weeks.
Let's go 1, 2, 3. All right. Somebody said 521. Let's go to 521. There's a reason. 521 was a Sunday, so it wasn't 521. We'll go to the Friday, 519. Remember, this was a roundabout date. If this was my roundabout date, all I did was bring it to your attention why I thought these four industries were going to be so important. Let's do this. Let's go see how well. Good Lord, have mercy. Anybody not happy with an 8, almost 9% gain in about 4 weeks? Someone said about 515. David, I'm okay with the 519. That's not half bad, folks.
All winners?
It was on a trending. Hold on. You know something? It was on a trending Thursday. So let's go break that. Let's go to 518. It was on a trending Thursday, wasn't it? Let's go to 518. All right, let's still do the quick test. 8.41%. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so I bring that because a lot of people always say, hey, Glenn, how you doing, buddy? Hey, how about giving me the hottest stock to buy? 4 weeks ago, I put you on the 4 industries that I thought were going to be, and I explained to you why. How about each one of these stocks, out of the 10, and I just added OC. All right, but just think that all of these stocks were all up in the green, and we did pretty much double what the market did. So I bring that to your attention because, as I mentioned, I do this all the time. I mentioned that we try very hard to bring actionable information to your fingertips. Now, because my list was so poopy, I'm going to give you some stocks top VST with a 3-8 crossover in the last 3 days. 3-8 to 3-8 exponential moving average. Let's go take a look at these stocks. These are top
I
VST.
see ASML on that list.
See, there you go. And that wasn't because Brian said it. It's because these are top VST stocks that have a 3-8 crossover over the last 3 days. Let's go change the graph layout to, where's my trade? Where is it? There's the 3-8s. 3-8 just crossed. Look at that. MOD, you done with MOD?
Yeah, you know me.
What you know about that right there? You don't know.
Wait.
You don't know anything about that. Look at that. PAM is on here. ASML. Interesting that ASML met the list, but you know something? What I like about this? It's coming down to a level of support. Ryan, what's that candlestick pattern right there?
Ooh,
I just put you on the spot. You ain't got to know.
you did put me on the spot, but I see that buying pressure.
Well, all right,
that
so the
bottom
buying
wick.
pressure because the wick at the bottom, but you know what that candlestick is known at this part of the pattern? And if you don't know it, it's fine.
I do not.
That is a hammer formation. Possible
Okay.
reversal coming right at support. So it looks like ASML, you're right with the buying pressure with the big wick at the bottom. But I'm liking that it could be turning around, coming off that level of support. I like that. All right, so ASML made the list. What else is on here? TGS, transported gas, new 3-month high. ACGL coming off a level of support, the 3-8 crossing coming through this level of resistance. So I did want to bring to the table some stocks that were worth it to look at. This is a lot more volatile stock. It's all over the place, and a nice move up on 3-8. Agent Crumby Realtor, my first time on, just trying to understand what I'm seeing. And you know something? One, thank you for being here. 2, we are moving a bit quick because there's a lot of stuff that we go through. But I will say this, Agent Crumby. Join the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, so and so that you'll be alerted when new videos come out. But a lot of what we do here in VectorVest, because we're not brokers, we can't tell you what stocks to buy or sell, but we can use the power behind our VectorVest system to help bring to the forefront stocks that you need to keep on your radar. That's what we do in general. William, you're lucky, William, that I'm ready to ask for people's stocks now, or else I was about to take one. I was really about to take one off the list. All right, we're going to take your stocks now. Stop it, Mark. I'm not talking to you right now. All right, and what we're going to do, we're going to take about 10, 15 stocks, right? And Ryan and I will go back and forth in analyzing those stocks. You okay with that, Ryan?
Sounds good to me.
All right, now put your stocks in. Dag nabbit. Some of you guys just don't freaking listen. AEHR, CXAI, CPRX. Joey, start counting. How many is that? VEV, Joey.
You got 3 more.
LP. I don't have no. See, you just don't want me to.
I can't see it over there.
MDGX. I'm looking at about 15, Ryan. Back me up. How many stocks are we at? FOXF, KNSL, I'm not doing PATS. STRL, Disney, which I don't like right now. Opera, and that's strictly from CVNA, that's strictly from a political perspective. KOLD, LGMK, I don't know how many stocks I'm putting in. So when you want to look at, that's enough. Joey said that's enough. Wow. So
I love all this interest in XROF.
I did. Shut up. Stop it. Stop it.
I see
Don't
the
even
comments here.
stop it. All right. So you know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to introduce. Wow, that was right at 15. That's what I wanted. I'm going to turn people on. No, Ray. Dang it. I got to. If it says Ray, Ray is my boss. Ray is my boss. I got to put XROF in there. Not that I wanted to, but I work for Ray. I work for Ray. I got to put it in there, or else I would hear, and then we'd have to fight. And yes, me and my boss do fight. All right. So anyway, I'm going to tell you something personal about Ryan. Ryan is an amazing trader. I don't say that haphazardly. Ryan is one of the few people that I know can take $60 in the market today and grow it into over $1,000 or $2,000 in the next few days. So yes, Ryan, I just put you out there, but I think that people need to understand really truly what you can bring to the table, in that he is an amazing trader in the market, and that's more his forte. So as time gets along, he may introduce you to some of that, he may not. But I want you guys to get a little bit of an inside look at what you guys have now got access to in Ryan's true talents. All right, so Ryan, that was my way. What did I tell you earlier? That I got you?
Hey, thank you for hyping me up, Glenn.
No, but I got you, and that, my friend. And I don't know, a lot of people are going to say what energy just said. He will either at some point talk to you a little bit about that or not. That's up to him. But I wanted you to know that about him. All right, Ryan, you want to take the first one, and I'll just go right after you.
We got AEHR.
Yep, go ahead, talk about it.
Are we going to do the graphs or just from here?
No, something. I don't know if I want to do graphs. We'll see. Let's analyze them real first. We'll go first, and then we'll see if we got time for graphs.
See here. So right now we're trading at $40. From a valuation standpoint, it's around $30. So it is a little bit more on the overvalued side. If you're looking more for an investment, definitely take that into consideration. As far as trading, the valuation may not be as important or as big of a focus if you're just going to trade the stock, but definitely from an investment standpoint, just know you're paying a premium right now for this. Now, as far as our fundamental indicators being RV and RS, you can tell the stock is definitely fundamentally sound just by these indicators here. For those new to the channel, our indicators, most of them are on a 0 to 2 scale. Above 1 is favorable. Below 1 is unfavorable. The further you get away from 1 speaks to the magnitude of that favor. So just wanted to break that down before I go into this. So as you can tell here, these have above 1 ratings on RV and RS. So fundamentally sound company. And like I said before, let the trend be your friend. RT is above 1 right now at 1.77. So that momentum is to the upside. And it's even got a good CI. Right now with the market being as, it's been pretty volatile, let's be honest, especially with the Fed speaking, interest rates, inflation, a lot going on. So the CI kind of gives me a sense of a technical standpoint, how safe that stock is, essentially. And what I mean by that, if it can resist lengthy or severe price declines. So from a technical standpoint, CI is definitely important to look at, because if it has a low CI, then historically, it's not going to come back. And that, especially if you plan on, buying a dip, I know a lot of, we don't really promote that here, but I know a lot of people like that. And if you are trying to buy the dip, definitely don't ignore CI. But overall, AEHR, it looks like a great stock here. Let's just keep in mind the market right now. Glenn mentioned, and we saw the color guard earlier, not the best time to be buying. But as I say, definitely put this one on your radar.
All right. I like the in-depthness that you did on the first one, but on the rest of them, we're going to get through them. All right?
Real quick.
All right. STRL, undervalued, not going up today. Fundamentally sound, in an uptrend. VST, top, second one in the list by VST. The stock goes up more than it goes down. Down day to day. I like the play. I just wouldn't buy it today. Go ahead, next one.
Next, we got KNSL. This stock here is overvalued right now, comparing 363 currently trading at, only valued at 266. What I do like about it today, it is actually up on a down day, so that's a positive note. Fundamentally sound, RVRS above 1, and is it a favorable uptrend? So I like that one.
CPRX, stock that VectorVest talked about a long time ago. Joey, why is this not working?
What is it?
It's not clicking on the next stop.
You're probably not doing it right.
Oh, well, how come he can, but I can't?
You're probably not doing it right.
Whatever. Anyway, CPRX as a drug stock, undervalued. That's abnormal. Most drug stocks aren't. That's an abnormal play, so I do like it from that perspective. Fundamentally sound, not in an uptrend right now. Even though it's up today, it's not in an uptrend right now. I do love the CI at 1.27. I do like the play as a high VST, high CI stock.
Now, next we got Lowe's on the list, trading today at 214, valued at 267. So that's pretty significantly undervalued there. Now, if we look at the fundamentals, fundamentally sound in an uptrend right now. The only thing to take caution is the CI rating is below 1. And that, again, that looks at the ability to resist those lengthy or price declines. So just keep that in mind there. But everything else looks good here.
Opera, 18, 11, overvalued. Upside there, relative safety below 1, RV above 1, RS below 1. This is more an aggressive play. It does have a VST above 1, CI above 1, and it's in an uptrend. It's in an up day on a down day. I'm okay with that. I just don't like the overvalued. One last thing, talking about that. Positive earnings and positive earning growth rates. Yeah, I like the play. Today is a good day. Even if you're still in it, leave it alone. Use your stops to manage the trade.
Next on the list, we got Heritage Global, HGBL. Again, undervalued right now. Price just shy of $4, valuing it over just over 5. So about 25% undervalued there, or about 20% undervalued. Now, it did move up today in a down day. That's always a good sign. If we look at RV, it is positive. However, the safety rating is below 1. So just remember, if you're not trying to, if you're a little bit more conservative, this may not be the stock for you just because that safety is below 1 right now. But if we look at everything else with its trend, RT and CI, they are in positive territory. So that one actually looks pretty good.
Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go to the bottom of the list. Who gave us XROF? Yeah. Mark, don't say a doggone word, Mark. Not even a little bit. What's that? All the way at the bottom of the list. And you know something? It's always the people that want me to push a stock and go, hey, go look at that stock, that ends up at the bottom of the list. Way overvalued. Down today. Not fundamentally sound. RT below 1. You know what's interesting about it? How does it have a CI of 1 point above? Let's go take a look at it.
It's got a good CI.
The only reason why I'm looking at this is because my boss said I had to look at it. Let's go put this on a 3-month graph. Interesting. All right, so now I could see that it's not susceptible to long and lengthy downtrends because it's moving sideways. It's in a channel. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Glenn, give us XROF. Oh, hell no. The stock is in a sideways move. RT is not above 1. We'll keep our eyes on the news about Glenn. One bad apple of XROF doesn't spoil the whole good ones you pick. Look at the 1 year. Let's go look at the 1 year. Ray says, look at the 1 year. Ray, why do you put me out here like this? Look at the 1 year, Ray. Why you put me out here like? Look at that. There's the 1 year. Now, do I have? Can I call that a wedge? Yes or no in the room? Can I call that a wedge? Ryan, what do you think? Can I call that a wedge?
Honestly, I would say yeah.
All right.
I think that.
So, for those of you, and Ray made me put it, Jake says no. For those of you, I've talked a lot about XRO on the channel. It's a very, very, very speculative play. All I do is I invite you to do your homework on XROF. I personally own it. I'm very transparent about the stocks that I own. I personally own it.
I do own a little bit as well.
Okay. All I say is go check out the company. All right. Go check out. It's a flag pattern. If that's the case, is this a bullish flag? And does this constitute let's go see. Does this constitute the flagpole, right? From here. Does this constitute the flagpole right here? Yes or no? If it's a flag pin, does that constitute the flagpole? Yes or no? Ray, I'm not listening to you. Ray, I'm not listening to you. I need somebody else to come in and say, does that constitute the flagpole? All right, because if that's the case, that could have some upside all the way up that much. That much. Oh, Ray is saying yes, that he owns XROB. Oh, I thought you were saying that that's the XROB. Does that not? So I just putting that out there. All right. So it's a very speculative. No, so you guys are saying no on the flagpole. Aha. So that's not the flagpole. Is my flagpole here? If that's a flag, is my flagpole? It's got to be from a low. It's got to be from a low to a high. Glenn, and also, Glenn, give us Palantir now. Going, yeah. I'm not talking about Palantir either. All right. Go ahead. Go to the next one at the bottom, Ryan.
All right. Next, we got Disney, currently trading at $88. We're only valuing it just shy of $60 right now, so overvalued. Even looking at their fundamentals, the RV and RS, both below 1, so not necessarily, fundamentally sound right now. And if we look at the technical analysis, RT and CI, both of those are on favorable ratings. So, nothing really jumping out at me right now with Disney, to be honest.
And the big thing is when they bought Iger back, that you would think that because before Iger came, the relative value, relative safeties were both negative. You would think that they made a change at the top to help turn themselves around. All right, let's go look at. They got positive earnings and positive earnings growth, but the fundamentals in the company are just not so good. The VST is not good. It's a hold. What I think is hurting Disney now, and without me taking any questions or any of your comments, it's the political fight between them and the governor of Florida. I think that weighs right now heavily on Disney.
I agree with that.
So again, I'm not getting into that argument. There's one statement that I want to say that's in the gaming world that I don't think I want to say because everybody will think that one way. But hashtag leave the kids alone. All right, and so anyway, with that being said, I think that's what's hurting Disney more so than anything. All right, I'm going to go to cold. Now, interesting about cold and boil. And I tried to do this. I tried to take something that Ryan does with the trading. He does a lot of trading. I tried to look at cold and boil because they move so much in one day. I tried to trade them on a daily basis, but with everything that I do throughout the day, I really wasn't able to. But I did bring that up to you a while ago. I don't know if anybody had tried to do that from a day trade perspective. But once one is up, the other is down. And so back and forth. I think that this could be a good day trading play. I think I wanted to try to do it in the Jockey Club, but I just never had the balls to do it. I guess that's the real terminology. I really didn't have the cojones to really do it with the VectorVest real money. But I don't think that it's a bad play because cold is down 7%, which means that boil should be up about that. So, but it's a sell and it's a day trade. Now, we'll do one more, Ryan. We'll do one more.
All right.
Jake just called me a potty mouth.
Now, if we look here, we got Carvana, greatly overvalued, $24 on the pricing, valued just over $1. That brings the relative value, again, that long-term price appreciation potential, to as low as it can get, 0.01. So as far as, a long-term play, this doesn't look like the stock you necessarily want to be in. Even the safety rating, you're taking on risk for that low potential and price appreciation. And a technical standpoint, it is an uptrend right now.
That's news-driven, bro.
Maybe if you're feeling like trading this position, but as far as, a long-term investment, the fundamentals just aren't there. And it's got a hold rating.
Don, I think I'm going to put you in YouTube timeout. Don says, you're full of gas, Glenn, so you know all about cold and boil. Don, welcome to my YouTube timeout. You're now in timeout. All right. There it is. All right. But I just want to tell you, Don, that's a good place to be. You just caught my attention now. Can you put us on the ending screen when both of us are on, Joey?
It'll just be this one.
Oh, okay. So, first things first, everybody. I need everybody to again welcome Ryan to the family as our new content creator. I think he, as you can see today, He brings a lot of greatness to the table, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to be doing. I really, really do. So make sure, if for nothing else, hit the like button. Hit the like button today, especially for him, as we bring him on board. And it just do that. If you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Man, that's all I got to say. Welcome aboard, Brian. Excellent job, Brian. You can read all that, right?
Yes, and thank you, Glenn, for having me on the show today.
Actually,
Definitely excited.
I think at some point that I think that this is going to become our show. I think the Wednesdays, I think with how we meld together, I think that the Wednesdays will be our show. I had it as our show when we had someone else here, then it became my show again, but I think I'm ready to relinquish it back up for it to become our show.
Well, I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to talking about X-Row some more in the future.
Yeah, I will put you in timeout. I will put you in freaking timeout if you keep bringing up X-Row. All right. So looking forward to Ryan's input. That's why I think that I'm willing to just say right now, right here, right now, that we should just make this our show. Wednesdays should be our show.
I love it. And I do want to say, I'm looking at the comments right now on the YouTube channel. I just want to say thank you for everyone's positive feedback today. And I'm glad to be able to show you some insight going forward.
Ryan does not have a bigger mic. Oh, does he? Oh, wait, hold on.
It's a bigger one.
It is a bigger. It is larger. He's got a larger mic. I feel. Never mind.
I think my hat's bigger too.
Whatever. Your hat ain't bigger either. Oh, this is gonna be fun, bro. This is gonna be fun. I can so see that. This is gonna be fun. All right. I'm gonna sign us off today. Are we comparing mics? It looks like Glenn is not going. Ray, this is my show. You can't put me in timeout. How about that? This is my show. All right. You can't put me in timeout. Hey, this is going to be a great show. Folks, we're signing off today. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Bom dia, salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until the next time, folks, see ya.